Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the penultimate round of the ORT Esports Cup here in Tier 1 as we take to the fantastic Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez as we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. As you can see here in qualifying, the heavens have opened. It is intermediate conditions. My name is, of course, Michael Edwards, going to be taking you through the action here tonight as we look at what can shape up in the penultimate round. Of course, it was looking absolutely signed, sealed and delivered for CPI to take home the championship here tonight. Unfortunately, though, I believe a point deduction from the stewards for last round has meant that it is still up for grabs. In fact, no, sorry. Point deduction has meant that it's still up for grabs. It can end here tonight. CPI can still be crowned champions, but of course we'll have to wait and see how that goes. As we are currently on a lap with Yamo Butter, as he is in the heart of the middle sector right now as he approaches the S section, and this is where it's going to be so key to make sure you have the correct line through here, especially in the wet conditions. And of course, Yano makes it through there, having to tiptoe around due to the conditions, but he is keeping it on track, still keeping it valid, which is what you want to see early on in the session. Just over 14 minutes to go in the session, and Yano is going to be the first one to set a lap time as Yamo to the line now, and it's going to be a 1:26.8, and I believe QVR Gary is the next man to cross the line in behind, so we'll jump on board with the QVR driver as he comes through the final sector, and of course coming up to the final corner now. QVR Gary in the Alpine. It was purple in the middle sector. Is he going to top the times? Yes, he does with a 26.3. So QVR Gary there, half a second clear of Yamo, as we do have Ragnar for CPI coming to the line right now. But yeah, quick thing, of course, as I mentioned at the start of the show, obviously CPI have a 20-point deduction coming tonight for misorderly conduct after the race, as Rezify and Jamie go quicker than Gary there, so CPI Jamie there topping the times, but it is still in CPI's favour. Now it just means that there's a little bit more work to do tonight, just to make sure they get themselves across the line. Of course, they were going to be on 224 points right now, but with that 20-point deduction, they are now on 204 points. And ORT Esports, with a fantastic result last time out, jumped themselves up to second in the championship. They're on 167 points, with LRN in third on 162. QVR in fourth. Bad race last time out for the QVR team, and of course only 9 points picked up for them, so they are on 159 points in fourth place. NLR Development currently in fifth on 151, and then we got a bit of a gap back to EPEC in sixth on 95 points, ORT in seventh on 84, 78 for DKMN Esports, IRT Esports on 69 points, and ESPL making their debut here tonight, replacing of course VMV, who are no longer in the tier. But of course we're starting to get their first sets of times coming in. Of course CPI Jamie there topping the times right now with a 25.3, half a second clear of Lightly, who joins him on the front row as it currently stands. Enzo Max to the line, and he goes up in the P6, does the Ferrari and the ORT driver. Alex Mastriano for NLR Development in the middle sector right now, so we're going to see what the NLR driver can do. But yeah, was it 37 points now in the standings that separates it, because of course it was going to be 57 points, but now it is 37 points, but it can still be wrapped up here tonight. Of course, maximum points available is of course 57 points, so of course they would have been coming in to tonight, as long as they outscored everyone they would have been the champions, but now obviously they have to outscore everyone by 20 points as Alex Marciano crosses the line up into P6 just ahead of his teammate Resify. So yeah, now CPI need to outscore the rest of the field by 20 points to take home the championship right here tonight. Other than that, they just put themselves in a fantastic opportunity to possibly take it in the season finale next week. Of course, we are on round 7 of 8. It is the penultimate round of the season. We're starting to get into the deep end now in the championship, and of course, as mentioned, CPI with the opportunity to seal the championship here tonight. But the question is, will CPI be able to score enough points to seal the championship? And of course, who's going to be that team that is going to pull away when it comes to P2? Because NR Development in P5 at the moment, 151 points. ORT Esports in P2, 167. So only 16 points separating second down to 5th. So very close in the team championship right there. As Resify does improve on his time, he's now on a 25.4. On board with Luca, gets a big snap there in the stadium section. That might have just cost him a little bit, but he is still on a valid lap, so we're going to stay on board with Luca. We still got Wildstorm yet to set a lap time, as Luca will cross the line, and he goes up in the P6 as well. And now Wildstorm doesn't appear to be, actually no, he could be on a fast lap, but he is around about 2 seconds off of what I believe we saw Jamie and Gary do in the middle sector. So this is going to be around Red Ninja's lap time, unfortunately, for Wildstorm. But in these conditions, it's all about building confidence, and Neil come to the line. Yep, there we go, P13, 27.7. QVR Killer out there as well on a 27.9, and lots of improvement there to find, as we're going to see if anyone is going to be improving on his lap times. That's Resify into the pits. Yamo right now currently in P4, marginally up in the first sector. Let's see what the middle sector is saying, and he's near enough, 4 temps up in the middle sector, over 3.5 temps up. But through the stadium section we go now. Yamo looking to get himself ahead lightly here. Nice and smooth through the final couple of corners, and that is going to help him out massively as he comes to the line. Up in the P3 goes Yamo. Alex Marciano 2.5 temps up in the middle sector. A little bit of a snap there coming into the final couple of corners, but to the line comes Alex Marciano. Up in the P5 goes the NLR driver. Wagner 2.5 temps up in the middle sector. Of course, CPI looking to seal the championship here tonight, or at very minimum just set themselves up for a nice easy run at it next time out for the season finale. Up in the P5 goes Ragnar. Enzo improving so far. Oh, big snap as he lights up the reels coming through the final corner. Needs to be careful when rejoining the track now, because he does have Angel coming through the final corner. As Angel there gets a little bit out of shape as Angel across the line goes up into P7. I think we'll stay on board with Jamie, because Jamie has just he's just come out on a lap, but he is invalidated, so maybe we will cut back to Jamie at some point, maybe when he's on his next lap. Luca 4 attempts up in the middle sector. This is good enough to get him onto the second row as it currently stands. Let's see how good he is in the final sector. Luca around the final corner now. Oh, big snap as he'll cross the line. It will be P3, but he definitely could have sneaked ahead of Resify there. That's a big amount of time that he did lose by that having that snap. So Luca definitely could have been up there. On board with Jamie, of course. Jamie looking to pick up that first point of the evening as he begins to run down in towards turn number 1, the 4.3 kilometer circuit, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I believe the highest circuit on the F1 calendar as well. So coming through turns 1, 2 and 3, all good right now for CPI Jamie. Of course, this would be where you get a second bite of DRS down in towards turn 4, but of course in the wet conditions, no DRS. Of course there is 3 DRS zones around this track down in towards turn number 1, in towards turn number 4, and of course in the end of the middle sector down in towards turn number 12. But Jamie, of course, coming into the S's now of 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Let's see how Jamie gets on here for the CPI team, as he is up on sector 1 time. Has a McLaren up ahead. He's going to hope that the McLaren gets out of the way, and the McLaren does very quickly. 4/10th improvement from CPI Jamie in the middle sector. This is big, this is huge from the CPI man, as he looks to break into the 24s around here as we go into the stadium section, around the final couple of corners now through turns 16 and of course now into 17. What can Jamie do? Will it be a 24 as he crosses the line now? Yes, it is. A 24.7 there. CPI Jamie, 8/10ths clear at the top. And as you can see, Resify, half a second improvement. But unfortunately for him, not on a valid run. So unfortunate at the end for him. Ragnar marginally down in the first sector. Sorry, no, lightly marginally down in the first sector, but up by nearly 3/10ths in the middle sector. The track is definitely heating up here because the times are getting quite quick now. As lightly now through the final couple of corners. Now to the line will come lightly up into P2, and there we go, front row there for lightly as Gary is on a lap. I think he might have just finished a lap. He improved by a 10th, needs more time though if he wants to get himself any higher up the order. Of course, as mentioned, it was a bit of a horror show for QVR last time out in I'm trying to remember now, it was a fortnight ago, in Brazil I believe it was. Yeah, in Brazil, a horror show for QVR, which saw them unfortunately only pick up a handful of points. Of course, they only picked up 9 points last time out in Brazil, which is unfortunate for them because they went from 2nd in the championship down to 4th, and they're in a bit of a 4-team battle right now for 2nd place in the championship as Wildstorm to the line. He goes up into P10. So improvements coming in thick and fast now from the drivers out there. We got QVR Killer 4/10ths up in the middle sector, and he's looking to get himself any higher up the order. QVR Killer to the line. 4/10ths improvement, and he improves his time but not his position, as I'm going to go on board with Resify, who I believe is going again, as is Jamie. So so look at this middle sector split. In fact, no, Jamie's not going again. He's having a bit of a cool down lap. Let's stay on board with Resify. Actually, Resify is going for another cool down lap as well. Trying to find someone who is on a flying lap. QVR Gary did improve on his time, so he's now into the 25s. CPI Ragnar now marginally up in the middle sector as he comes through the stadium section. just about keeps the traction in, improves his time, but not his position. Alex Marciano out there on track right now. We do have both of the Alpha Tauris in the final sector, as we both have the Alfa Romeos as well. And we got CPI Jamie coming through the final corner now. 30 seconds remaining in the session as the guys begin to back up the rest of the pack to make sure they have a bit of space for their flying runs. 20 seconds to go in the session as CPI Jamie gets himself underway for the final run here. Checker flag is out right now, so we're going to go on board with Alex Marciano right now as he comes through the final corner, and he'll be the first man to set a lap time. Crosses the line, Alex Marciano up into P3 for NLR, as we do have a Haas, and of course that is Martin, and of course we had Lightly crossing the line as well. He's up in P2. The Ferrari of Red Ninja crossing the line there, as we got Ragnar coming into the pits. He's peeling off. Let's go back on board with Jamie as he comes to the middle sector split. Marginally down is CPI Jamie, but he has such a margin over the rest of the field right now. He should be okay, barring a heroic final 2 sectors from Resify. And he finds time in the final sector. Jamie increases his gap over the rest of the field. Resify 3 attempts up in the middle sector. As long as Resify can get a good final sector, he should be okay to be starting on the front row. Let's see what the NLR driver can do. He does have QVR Gary just ahead of him on track, as that potentially just put him off slightly. And QVR Gary's in the wall, but Resify does improve, gets himself onto the front row. CPI Jamie and Resify on the front row here in qualifying. Fantastic result for Resify, and of course Alex Marciano a 2nd and 5th place in qualifying for the NLR development team. And of course CPI Jamie picking up that point for CPI. So with the session over and done with now, we're waiting on Enzo and Yamo to retire from the session as they are in the pit lane. And then we'll be ready to get underway in the race. But what a lap there from CPI Jamie. Half a second clear of the field. Fantastic result from him. But let's run you through the order one more time. It is CPI Jamie who takes pole position once again for the CPI Esports team, and they picked up a point in this race, and they're looking to try and steal the championship. But half a second the gap between himself and Resify, who joins him on the front row for NLR development. CPI Lightly in sorry, not CPI Lightly, Lightly for IRT in third, with Luca in fourth, Alex Marciano in fifth, with Fox Blue in 6th, Yamo in 7th, and of course QVR Gary in 8th, CPI Ragnar in 9th, and Gonza rounding out the top 10. Outside of the top 10 we have Enzo, Wildstorm, Angel, Martin, Red Ninja, and QVR Killer at the back. And of course, if you guys need to know who's in what car, of course we do have the Mercedes, which are being driven by the CPI Esports team, the Red Bulls, which of course aren't here tonight, but they are normally driven by the DKMN Esports team. The Scuderia Ferrari is driven by ORT Esports. The McLaren F1 team driven by Invictus Racing Team. The Alpines driven by QVR. The Aston Martin is driven by NLR Development. The Alpha Tauri is driven by Esports Peck. And of course Alfa Romeo driven by X Esports. The Haas F1 team driven by LRN Esports. And of course the Williams F1 team driven by ESPL. And of course, we do not have DKMN or ESPL here tonight. So of course we have LRN, X Esports, EPEC, QVR, NLR, IRT, ORT, and of course CPI. As I believe we're going to the 5 red lights now. Lights are underway, and we are underway here for the penultimate round of the championship. It is a very good start from these guys in treacherous conditions. As look at that, Luca already trying to get the moves done on Lightly here, and look at Lightly trying to make it free wide, trying to go for the lead of the race down the inside, potentially on Jamie, but no, Resify trying to fight back here. Alex Marciano in the background as well, trying to make moves on Luca for P4. As look at that, Lightly and Resify battling side by side, as it looks like Lightly might just about get that done, and yes he does. As look at this, Alex Marciano defending from Luca in P4. Remember, this is important in terms of the team championships. Of course, Luca and Fox Blue representing ORT Esports, and of course NLR Development, of course, in the championship as well. Of course, they're in the battle for P2. ORT Esports currently second in the championship. Of course, NLR Development currently 5th in the championship, with 16 points separating those two teams. But it looks like everyone has got off the line very well indeed. CPI Jamie has bolted up the road already over a second. The gap to Lightly, who is now up into second place for the Invictus Racing team. Meanwhile, his teammate Wildstorm, unfortunately, it hasn't gone well for him. He's at the back, and he's over a second off the back of the pack now. So we got Lightly, who's absolutely cruising away from the field at the front. You got Wildstorm, who's falling away at the back. But look at this now, Resify on the back of Lightly as we come down in towards turn number 1, and a little bit of desync going on there, a little bit of bubble perhaps, but through turns 1 and 2 they go. Resify needs a better exit here out of turn 3, and he does get the better exit, better traction, and looks like it could be a job done for Resify. Up into P2 goes the NLR Development driver. Alex Marciano now in P4, all over the back of Lightly now for P3, but he does have Luca looking for a bit of an alternative line. Has a little peek down the inside into the double apex corner of turn number 6. As you can see, it is quite treacherous out there. The rain not as heavy as what it was in qualifying, but of course it is intermediate conditions. So I wonder, will we be seeing dry compound tyres at all in this race, or will it be intermediates for the duration? That is going to be the big question, because CPI Jimmy right now is just a class above the rest, absolutely flying up the front. Meanwhile, his teammate currently down in P10 of Ragnar, and Ragnar's on the back of Yamo for P10, as it looks like. We had Luca looking for a move on Alex Marciano. Yes, the run to draw alongside, but does not have the ERS to compete here. Meanwhile, Fox Blue, he has more ERS to fight with, but look at that, QVR Gary gonna try and hang it around the outside of all of the cars there through turn 1, and yeah, it hasn't worked out well for Gary. Of course, it left him a little bit compromised for turn 2 and 3, and Gary has to settle down again for P7. Could be under pressure here from Gonza into turn number 4, as Fox Blue tries to go around the outside of turn 4 on Alex Marciano. They are wheel to wheel, they are side by side as they go through turn 5 now into turn 6. Fox Blue down the inside, job done for the ORT Esports driver. And all this battling has allowed Lightly and Resify to get away by around 2 seconds. And now Resify trying to break that 1 second window to Lightly, which he does do. So Lightly starting to fall away a bit from Resify. So Resify looks like he's got the pace on Lightly, but the gap between Resify and Jamie not really moving too much, and I think they're quite evenly matched right now in terms of the pace they currently have in this session. But Jamie sets a brand new fastest lap. Will that be beaten by anyone? No, it will not, as Luca breaks away from his teammate Fox Blue, and of course Alex Marciano under pressure now from QVR Gary, who has literally no ERS to his name. And Gary runs out of deployment on the run down into turn number 1, which of course is going to be okay because he is going to get that move done, but it's just so much ERS Gary is off by at the moment. He's going to be a sitting duck next time on the straight. Oh, Yamo there getting a little bit out of shape as plenty of cars go through. Martin gets to move down on Angel, and he's up in the P10 now. Ragnar up into P9, and the CPI driver trying to make his way up the order as Martin and Angel still side by side as they come through turn 6, and it looks like Angel is going to get that move back on Martin. So the AlphaTauris come into play here tonight, and really elbows out with LRN team right now. QVR Killer going about his race quite quietly at the moment. He's climbed a few positions up in the P12 now. Doing very well, just sitting in a bit of a train, waiting for his opportunities to get these overtakes done. And of course, he's in the train for the last spot inside the top 10. So keeping penalty free, and that could be a healthy position for Killer come the end of the race. As Gonza closes up to the back of Alex, but actually he's trying to stick his nose in around the outside, but does settle down in the end. Let's look at this once again. Angel and Martin battling through turns 1 and 2. I'm going to stay on board with Killer, because I kind of want to see if Killer's going to be opportunistic about these overtakes here. He does have Enzo in behind him, so he needs to be a little bit careful of the Ferrari in behind, the ORT driver. But let's see if Killer has what it takes to kind of get his car in a good spot as he runs a little bit off track, and that could put him under pressure. Because look at this now, Enzo trying to sneak around the outside, a little bit of contact there, and Killer holds on to the position, but Enzo, they're almost taking advantage as Killer does pick up a 3-second time penalty. So Killer going off track there, and of course picking up another track limit warning through the S's, and of course that has contributed into a 3-second time penalty for the QVR driver. Jamie still pulling away at the front of the field. The gap 2.93 seconds. The gap now. Resify has around about a 1 second gap over Lightly, but Lightly is trying to fight back. So we'll see if Lightly does have what it takes to get back within I say DRS range, but of course DRS will not be activated until the rain has come to a close, and the rain has stopped, so we're not too far away from the dry tyres, I would imagine. Of course, the rain has stopped here in Mexico. We will be going to the dry tyres at some point. It is a bit too damp out there on track right now, but in around 2 laps time, maybe the track begins to dry up and we see a racing line form. And of course, the indicator will be when DRS is enabled to come into the pits for a fresh set of dry compound tyres. Oh, Yamo is out of the race. LRN, Yamo out of the race, and that is going to allow Martin, Killer, Enzo stays out. Red Ninja's into the pits, and I believe Wildstorm will be into the pits as well. So the pit stops are now beginning to happen, and we're starting to see some dry compound tyres. Of course, the track is still going to be a little bit damp as Angel's retired from the session as well. How has Angel lost it there? Angel down in towards turn 1, out of the session, and you can see the debris there from the AlphaTauri, and heartbreak there for Angel, and of course for Yamo as well. Both drivers out of this session. We have 14 drivers remaining. Safety car is deployed here on lap number 7. And we should be seeing dry tyres begin to come onto these guys at the top. Jamie, of course, had the superior pace in the intermediate conditions. He was absolutely flying. And he will remain in the race lead. But the question is, will Jamie have the same kind of pace in the dry conditions? That is going to be the question now. As we should see all the drivers coming into the pits now. Strap on a set of dry compound tyres, whether it will be a set of mediums or the set of the hards. We'll have to wait and see. Jamie into the pits. As is Resify, Lightly, Luca, Fox Blue having to back up a little bit to make sure that the double stack works for them. Gonza overtaken into the pit lane on QVR Gary. Wow, and Lightly gets the jump on Resify in the pit lane. Lightly with a fantastic pit stop phase there, because he gets ahead of Resify. Gary's going for the set of the soft tyres, as is Alex Marciano, who gets jumped by... He's got jumped by Ragnar. So I can only imagine Alex Marciano gets a little held up by his teammate in the pits. And that, of course, has contributed to... him losing a spot to the CPI driver. Wildstorm picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. And now let's do some mathematics, shall we, as we look at the point system to see what CPI need to do to take home the championship here tonight. Of course, they need to outscore, I believe it is ORT Esports, by 20 points. Yeah, they outscore them by 20 points. So, as it currently stands, of course, ORT Esports drivers Luca and Fox Blue currently in 4th and 7th. That is 31 points there for the ORT Esports team, and Jamie and Ragnar currently in 1st and 8th, which is of course 42 points, but also there is the pole position point, so that's 43 points, and of course the fastest lap point, which currently is being held by by Jamie. So Jamie, 44 points being gained right now by CPI to 31 points being gained by the ORT Esports team. So the championship won't be done as it currently stands, but the gap will be over 40 points going into the next race. So CPI right now doing exactly what they need to do, try and get as many points as possible to seal the championship off here tonight. Jamie doing a fantastic job. He's out in the race lead. He picked up the pole position point. He's got the fastest lap point as it currently stands, and he's taking maximum points for himself here tonight. Meanwhile, let's have a look at some of the other teams in the standings and see what they are doing. Of course, NLR, they are currently in P5. They're on 151 points. Resify currently up in P3, and Alex Marciano down in P9. So they are getting 31 points as well as the ORT Esports team. So the gap does not change between ORT Esports and NLR. QVR right now, obviously you got Gary in P6 picking up 14 points for him. Killer in P10 picking up 10 points, 24 points gained for the QVR team, which of course is going to see them drop to 5th in the standings. And actually no, they will jump ahead of LRN, who are currently have one driver remaining in the race, and of course that driver is Martin, all the way down in 13th place. That's 7 points for him. So QVR right now are currently holding on to 4th in the championship. I believe NLR will jump QVR, and they'll jump up ahead of LRN as well, up into 3rd in the championship. And of course ORT Esports will increase their lead over the rest of the field for P2 in the standings. And of course CPI are of course increasing their lead in the championship as well. Safety car is in this lap, and Wildstorm and Martin unable to catch up to the back of the pack. It is still quite damp out there on track, so it might not be dry tyre conditions yet, so they might have to tiptoe for a lap or two as they try to warm up the tyres. You see the spray coming off the back of the Mercedes up ahead of CPI Jamie as everyone now folds their way through the stadium section as they look to get themselves underway to begin this race once again. Jamie waiting for the opportunity to go, and Lightly is going to do everything he can to try and get the jump on him, but Jamie, a good run for him as Gonza gets the overtake then on Luca. Might have to concede that position straight away as I think he might have got it just before the line, as Luca does get through. And look at this as Gonza gets a little bit boxed in here as Luca tries to send one down the inside of Rezify for P3. This is big for the battle for P2 in the standings as Gonza now looking for a bit of a switchback on Luca, going to try and get himself up in the P4, but he's going to get boxed in once again, Gonza, as Luca sends one down the inside of Rezify, and Rezify there back on the inside. Little bit of contact made as Luca goes off track, and that's going to allow Gonza to get alongside, and that's a bit of contact there between Luca and Gonza, and that unfortunately has sent Luca around in back down to last place now for Luca as Gonza gets a little bit out of shape. QVR Gary now up into P4, good going from him, and I believe with Luca now down towards the back, CPI in this position, I believe, do take the championship home. As it's a grand total of 18 points being picked up by ORT Esports right now, and of course Jamie picking up 32 on his own as he currently stands, as Gonzalez can get back through on Fox Blue. Up into P5 goes the Alpha Tauri as Ragnar and Killer battle it out side by side into turn 1. The QVR driver trying to get himself up the order as best as possible, but bit of a poor run out of turn 3, and that is going to be the end of that for him. Of course, right now Ragnar and Jamie as a duo picking up 42 points as they currently stand, just in terms of the point position. Of course, 44 if you include the fastest lap and the pole position point, which of course was the pole position lap was of course taken by CPI Jamie, and of course the fastest lap currently in possession of Jamie, so that'd be 44 points for them. Fox Blue currently in P6 picking up 14 points, so right there, I mean that's already a 30 point gap, and then of course then you got Luca trying to close up to the back of Red Ninja now for P13, but down in 14th, he's picking up 6 points. So right now, CPI win the team championship right here. As Alex Marciano gets through on Fox Blue, up into P6 goes the NLR development driver. Which is big for NLR, because I think with Resify in P3 picking up 20 points, and of course Alex in P6 picking up 14 points, that's 34 points to them, and that might be enough to jump them ahead of ORT Esports in the battle for second place. Of course QVR will still be in the mix as well. LRN, I mean Martin is trying to come back into this race, he's currently down in P9. So he's trying to save the hopes there for LRN in this race. So of course I've already lost Yamo, from this race. And of course Angel has also been lost as well in the AlphaTauri, which of course are being driven by the Esports PEC team. So the EPEC racing team, of course, losing out here as well. Oh, contact there as Wilds loses the car and collects Luca. Collects Luca again. Luca cannot catch a break, and Enzo, of course, getting caught out as well. And Luca's race is going from bad to worse right now, because since the contact with Gonza early on, he's been thrown to the wolves at the back of the pack, and incidents are beginning to happen now out on track, as the track is getting nice and dry out there, and we should see everyone now begin to be a lot more comfortable on these dry compound tyres, shall we say. As Jamie does lead the way, of course the gap is around about 1.2 seconds. Resify needs to get within that 1 second window to pick up DRS on CPI Jamie. Of course Jamie is pulling away in the middle sector, as Alex Marciano over the back of Gonza for P5, trying to get NLR development up the order as best as possible. Of course on the set of the soft tyres, needs to be using them to the best of his ability. But he's under pressure now from Fox Blue, and Fox unable to get close enough to go for an overtake. Resify 1.1 is the gap, but he has broken DRS too lightly in behind, so Resify trying to pull away, and he picks up the fastest lap, so that's a point in favour of NLR development right now, as Resify needs to close up onto the back of Jamie, but Jamie has so much more ERS to play with, and Lightly is trying to use a bit of battery to close back up as well. Gary in a bit of no man's land in P4 right now, as you got Gonza under pressure from Alex Marciano for P5. But it looks like Fox Blue just has the better runs coming out of turns 3 there. So Fox Blue potentially could be looking at an opportunity, but unable to get that done. Meanwhile, at the front, we're seeing Resify within 1 second. Gonza with a 3-second time penalty. That could be crucial for his team and his finishing result at the end of this race. But look at this. Through the S's, CPI Jimmy just has a fantastic line through there, and of course able to get away. And Resify was within 1 second, drops outside of 1 second. Now in the stadium section, needs to close back up and get within it, as QVR Gary has left the session. Heartbreak for the QVR driver. He was currently in P4 doing a good job, but he unfortunately has lagged out the session, and that's going to drop him back down the order as Alex Marciano gets overtaken by Fox Blue, but Resify unable to get onto the back of Jamie here. And Gary now is going to fumble all the way down the order as he no longer has control of his car, and he'll drop back all the way behind Alex Marciano. Well, that's without a doubt, in my opinion, as it'll be so easy for the grid now to overtake him and make these moves. As Resify, I mean, we're seeing Resify, he's getting close to DRS, but he's not close where it matters. As here goes Gonza for the ghosted AI of Gary, and Fox Blue will follow suit, as will Alex Marciano, and by the time Gary rejoins the session, he'll be down in P7. which is unfortunate for the QVR driver. And yet there he goes, falls back to P7. Hopefully he can get back into the session before Ragnar closes up to him, because it'll be absolute heartbreak for the QVR driver to lose out like that. And what we have now, of course, Jamie still holding on to that 1 second gap, and Resify unable to do anything, and he is matching him in terms of lap time. So Resify is showing good pace around here. He's battling for the fastest lap point, but he needs to get within 1 second where it matters on the DRS activation points. Well, he needs a good run through the middle sector right here, obviously through the S's, because that seems to be where Jamie is getting all his time. As yeah, Gary unfortunately is going to lose out. Alex Marciano makes a mistake though, and he's now 1.5 seconds off the back of the pack, and that could allow Ragnar potentially to close up to the back of Alex Marciano here, because of course Ragnar will have DRS on Gary, and Gary will be able to be slingshotted into, of course, Alex up ahead. Resify does get within DRS range, but it's not activated for some reason. So Resify within 1 second now of Jamie. This is perfect for the NLR development driver. He's now in the fight for the race win, and all he needs to do is hold on to DRS and just try and save up a bit of that battery, as Jamie and Resify once again trading fastest laps back and forth. As Resify with DRS is going to close in. Looks like he definitely has the straight line speed, but Jamie has enough of a gap to hold on at the front. Fox Blue closing up to Gonza for P4 here, and of course Alex Marciano trying to come back into this. He's about a second off the back of these two now, trying to get back within DRS range, and he does get back within DRS range. But look at this now, Fox Blue trying to get the move done on Gonza. Down the inside he goes into turn number 5, and now through 6. Gonza on the inside, Fox Blue on the outside, and Gonza is going to hold on to that perhaps, and yep. Gonza up into P4, but with that time penalty he will fall behind these guys. Alex Marciano now back within the fight, which is good for him, as Wildstorm retires in the pit lane with a 5 second speeding penalty. He's not been having a good day. Back up towards the front though. Will we see a change for the race lead, as Resify with DRS closes in on Jamie? Of course, Wildstorm for Invictus Racing Team retiring from the session, and here comes Resify. We have a brand new race leader here in Mexico. Lap 19, Resify overtakes CPI Jamie for the race lead. As look at this now, as Gonza, Fox Blue battling out into turn 1, as they are side by side coming into turn 2. A little bit of contact between the pair of them as they go through turn number 3. And look at this now, Alex Marciano going to try and get the double overtake on the pair of them as he gets through on Gonza here at the outside line for turn number 4 on Fox Blue, which will turn to the inside for turn number 5. Will this work out here for Alex Marciano? He's got the inside for 6. Important move for Alex Marciano, and he gets the move done. But look at this now, Gonza. Oh, he tried to have a little run on Fox Blue, did Gonza, but no, it is Alex Marciano who gets the double overtake done. But I believe now Fox Blue will just come back at him with a little bit more ERS to play with. The battle for P4 heating up very nicely indeed. A Resify, new fastest lap from him, as he is once again in the race lead, but we'll see Jamie re-overtake for that position right now. In fact, no, we don't. He backs out of it. So Jamie comfortable in sitting back behind Resify for the time being. As Gonza looking to get the move done on Fox Blue and on Alex Marciano as well. Down the inside, oh my god, Gonza trying to move back to the racing line there. That was very aggressive from Gonza there. As Fox Blue gets through as well, up into P5 goes Fox Blue. CPI Ragnar now in this battle as well, and of course CPI, I mean, Luca is recovering. I don't think it's quite enough for Luca to keep the championship alive right now, but of course he is in a bit of free air now. He can push after Martin. And if these guys continue to battle, then of course Luca will join the back of this pack. Lap 21 of 36, and we're going to see Jamie hold off from the overtakes there. Alex Marciano into the pit lane, going early off those softs, and he's going to go for the undercut. The opponent setting the medium tyres to the end of the race, that's for sure. And yep, there we go, the yellow wall medium tyres. He will get the undercut as well. The undercut very powerful around Mexico. So Alex Marciano could potentially get himself clear of the likes of Gonza, Fox Blue. But will he be able to hold on to that lead? That'll be the question. He's already on the back of Red Ninja as QVR Killer retires in the pit lane. Gary, unfortunately, still not within the session, I don't think. Actually, no, he is in the session, but he's at the back of the pack. He has gone for a pit stop, so he's also gone for the undercut. As Killer, his teammate, leaves the session, so heartbreak for QVR as Gary's on the back of Enzo here for P11. Alex Marciano with a big 12.5 second gap now to push into on his fresh tyres. Will we see anyone coming to the pits from this train? CPI Ragnar into the pit lane. Let's see what tyres he goes on to. A fresh set of mediums for the CPI driver. He should come out behind Alex, but the question is, will he come out behind the likes of Red Ninja and Gary and Enzo here? For Gary, obviously this will be a great recovery for him if he can get himself ahead of Alex Marciano here. And I think with the overspeed he should just about be able to, as the overspeed's going to allow him to get the overtake done on Red Ninja, and he's on the back of Ragnar. So Gary's race, I mean, even though he went out of the session, it's not quite over yet. He's back within the fight. So QVR Gary back within the fight, and of course he's on the back of Ragnar. Ragnar wasn't too far off the back of Fox Blue and Gonza, so we're getting a little bit of an understanding of where Gary is in this race right now. Of course he is going to be in this battle for what should be P4, P5. But the end of this race, of course, Lightly is currently the man in P3 in a bit of no man's land, as Resify and Jamie Lee are going to trade positions as Jamie gets to move down Gonza into the pit lane. And he's going to go onto a fresh set of mediums here. So Gonza, let's see where he comes out to. Of course, stayed out a couple of laps longer. Alex Marciano with a new fastest lap of the race. He's going to jump ahead of Gonza, which is perfect for him. But let's see, as Ragnar and Gary, are they going to be close enough to Gonza to really battle him here? 1.4, but of course Gary will have another bit of DRS here. So we could see Gary within 1 second of Gonza. Gary tries to close up within a second of Gonza up ahead. He's got the gap down to around a second here. Needs a good middle sector, needs a good S's and he could be within the 1 second window. Just going to be just outside it, but it was a good run through there, and he is now on the cheating edge, but he has no ERS to play with. Gary needs a perfect final sector here to get within 1 second. He's just outside it. Gary just outside DRS. Now he's going to be an absolute sitting duck, as Resify now back behind Jamie, and obviously able to save a bit of battery now. Jamie is essentially on 100%. So Jamie has the ERS to play with here. Lightly against in a bit of no man's land. Fox Blue yet to make a pit stop, and of course his teammate Luca also waiting for the opportunity to make a pit stop as well. Luca, I believe, will come out well down the order as well, so it'll be unfortunate for Luca. Probably should have gone for the undercut if I was Luca, just to try and get myself back into that battle that I was in previously, but of course it is what it is, as Martin has lost it there. So LRN completely all out of shape in this race. Of course Yamo out of this race, and of course Resify into the pit lane, going for the undercut on Jamie. Big movements going on now in the pit lane, as Jamie, obviously the lead car decided to stay out, and Resify's gone for a set of the soft tyres. The undercut is going to be fantastic now from Resify, lightly on the set of mediums. Of course, we may see by the end of the race the soft tyres begin to fall off, but Alex Marciano, how close is he now to Lightly? Ladies and gentlemen, we could be looking at a double NLR development podium here, as Alex Marciano 2.6 off the back of Lightly. Lightly has a 3-second time penalty. Resify gets through on Luca, which of course is a heartbreak for the ORT Esports driver to see that one of the teams that he's battling for second in the championship has a pit stop advantage over him, and essentially a pit stop advantage over his teammate as well. But Resify on those soft tyres absolutely needs a blistering remainder of this lap, because I believe Jamie will be into the pits this lap. Yes, he will. Jamie into the pits. Big Tokyo drift into the pit lane there from CPI Jamie. And I believe Jamie will put on the set of the soft tyres as well to match. In fact, no, he goes for a set of mediums here. So Jamie opting for the medium compound tyres. So Resify will have the tyre advantage early on. As we come down the start finish straight, there is Jamie on the right hand side. Resify will retake the lead, but will he have the grip on those soft tyres to pull away? Of course, Jamie's tyres will be quite cold. They've just come out of the pit lane, so they should be relatively nice and cool, as Lightly has DRS in the back of Lucas. That's helping him build that gap once again to Alex Marciano. The 3-second gap needed for Lightly to take a podium here tonight. Resify in the middle sector. This is where he needs to pull away on those soft tyres if he wants to try and take victory here tonight. 6 tenths is the gap. He is pulling away, but this middle sector, we see Jamie absolutely nail the S's, and of course it's going to keep him in touch once again. And it looks like Jamie there isn't going to get dropped by Resify in this race. Of course, Fox Blue staying out again, but will he get into the pits this lap? He should be, and no, he stays out again. So Fox Blue, I think, now gambling for a safety car. Luca into the pit lane. Yeah, he had no choice. He had to bail out. Lightly with a new fast lap of the race, which is huge for him, as Jamie and Resify gonna trade the net race lead here, as Fox Blue is ahead of the pair of them. Lap 27 of 36. Fox Blue leads the way, but out of sync with the rest of the field. Possibly going to try and go all the way to the end of the set of the mediums. Might be the strategy here from Fox Blue, but he's just going to get overtaken by Jamie. And now this is actually huge, because now Jamie has Fox Blue in between himself and Resify, and of course Resify getting slightly held up there, and of course we're coming to the S's, where Jamie has just been absolutely fantastic and impervious through this sector, and of course Resify outside that 1 second now already, thanks to the small little hold up there from Fox Blue, just not having the grip to be able to match what Jamie's doing in the middle sector, and Resify losing out massively here. But soft tyres, he should be able to come back as long as he can get the runs that he needs, but he does have a lot less ERS. In fact, no, Jamie has actually used quite a lot of ERS, and he does pick up the fastest lap of the race, so Jamie retakes the fastest lap point, which is big for CPI in terms of the team championship. Huge for them. Of course, they are currently in a position right now where I do believe that they'll be on course to be taking the team championship here tonight. Of course, Ragnar currently down in P7 within the 3-second window of Gonza for P6, and you got to remember as well, Fox Blue yet to make a pit stop, so that P6 will become P5. Of course, he does have QVR Gary though, keeping him company, so P5, P6 is currently the battle that Ragnar is currently in with Gary, and of course Gonza with that 3-second time penalty, 2.5 seconds up the road from him. So it's going to be interesting, and right now obviously Lightly doing a good job. He's got that gap to Alex Marciano now in terms of that 3-second time penalty. Lightly, and is trying to close up to the back of Resify now, but I don't think he'll have the pace just yet to do it. CPI Jamie and Resify and Lightly all matching each other on ERS, so it's going to be down to tyre grip and obviously confidence around this track. Resify should have the grip advantage, but we know Jamie has the confidence advantage around this track. So I think the strategy from Fox Blue is to go to the end of this race on the set of the mediums. It's a bold strategy. It could pay off for him. He could get some good points, but in terms of the championship, obviously Luca down in P9 and Fox Blue P4. Obviously between the pair of them, they're picking up 29 points, and of course CPI currently in P7 and P1. Of course 43 points to them, so they're already losing out by 14 points, and then of course you've got the 2 bonus points, of course, for a pole position, which is of course taken by CPI Jamie, and fastest lap, which is also being taken by CPI Jamie. That gap is now a 16-point advantage that CPI are gaining out of this race, and then you're looking at potentially Fox Blue losing spots to Alex Marciano, potentially dropping back, and you've got CPI Ragnar, who potentially has an opportunity to gain an extra point on Gonza here. And by the end of this race, maybe even Fox Blue will fall back into Gonza's and Ragnar's hands here. So 16 points is what CPI are gaining right now. They need to gain 20 points in total to seal the championship. Resify losing the spot too lightly. To be honest though, for Resify, I don't think he'll mind that too much. I think he knows Jamie just has the pace around here, but he'll settle for P2. A fantastic result for him and NLR Development, which will boost their chances in the team championship, that is for sure. And maybe what we could see from Resify is potentially a bit of elbows out to try and bring Alex Marciano into this race perhaps, but we'll have to wait and see. Gonza is closing up to the back of him though. Of course, currently a P3, P5 for NLR Development, which is of course 36 points gain for them. But of course, Resify within the 3-second, well and truly unlikely. So he should be it should be a P2 for Resify in this race. So a 25 and 16, which of course would be a 41 point gain, of course, to ORT Esports is a 29 point gain. So 41-29, that is an 11 point gain in terms of the standings. Is that enough for No, it's not. So ORT Esports will hold on to second in the standings as it currently stands. ORT Esports will hold on to second in the standings as it currently stands. But I mean, right now, Luca needs not only to close up to the back of Gary, he needs to build the gap as well. And you're looking at Fox Blue on those worn 23 lap old mediums. He's just gonna fall through the field very soon, as Alex Marciano now on the back of him. So this is where we're gonna start to see Fox Blue lose out here. This will be a 4-point swing. Obviously, will mean 27 points now for ORT Esports if Fox Blue gets overtaken, and of course a 43 points gained for NLR if Alex gets through here as well. Which you'd like to think with DRS and just the grip advantage, the tyre life advantage of Alex, he should absolutely fly through here. And it doesn't look like Fox has the ERS to compete here. Alex has seen the flash of red light and he's just going to fly on by. Thank you very much. I'll take P4 off your hands, mate. And, yep, Fox Blue falling now behind Alex Marciano, and potentially could be falling behind Gonza here. This could be big for Ragnar. If Fox Blue elbows out, because obviously with that time penalty, he's not going to want to give that up. Could we see Ragnar close up to the back of him? Obviously, Luca is actually closing up very well to the back of Gary for P8. But he does need to build that gap as well. Lap 32 of 36. CPI Jamie absolutely dominant in this race. There was a moment where Reservoir was challenging. But, I mean, you saw the ERS that Jamie just had in that middle stint when Reservoir was in the lead. And Jamie was just... It was just all in his hands throughout this entire race, and Reservoir, the only man really to really put a little bit of pressure on Jamie. And of course, it did last for a few laps, but unfortunately for Reservoir in this final stint, Jamie's just shown his class and his pace around here. Lap 33 has likely stunned the pressure from Reservoir, as Fox Blue is going to be overtaken by Gonza. But this is crucial for Ragnar in terms of the team championship, if they're going to be battling it out here. But it looks like Gonza is just going to get that move done and dusted, easy as you like. So Gonza up in the P5, job done for him, trying to get on the back of Alex Marciano. Of course, if he can get DRS on the NLR driver, he will pull away from Ragnar here. So, as long as Gonza has DRS, I mean, Ragnar at best can get 6th. Of course, Ragnar needs a little bit more right now if he wants to try and get himself into that 3-second time penalty, and onto the back of Fox Blue as well. As we are coming to the closing stages of this race, CPI Jamie near a 7-second lead at the front, lap 34 of 36. Lightly all over the back, being absolutely hounded right now by Reservoir. And of course Alex Marciano, he's just holding on P4 right now. And of course he's keeping Gonza just a little bit at bay. But Fox Blue with DRS, will Fox Blue be able to come back here? I don't think he will. I think he's a bit too far back, but never know. Double dose of DRS. I mean, this is actually helping Fox Blue stay ahead of Ragnar here, so we're going to see if this works. Of course, Fox Blue will have another bit of DRS down in towards turn number 4, but Ragnar now, from what looked like a possible P5, potentially might end up being a P7 here in tonight's race. As Reservoir again, just putting the pressure on lightly, but he's not interested in going for the overtake at this moment in time. Luca doing well to get himself back into the race. Of course, P6 and P8 right now for the ORT Esports team. Of course, there's a 26-point gain for them. Obviously, Gary's at the moment still within that 3-second window of Luca, so could fall behind the QVR driver, could Luca here, but is still okay right now for ORT Esports. That's a 26-point gain for them. Of course, they are going to lose out because of course 26 points, and CPI going to pick up 45 points. Actually not, as it currently stands, the championship won't be wrapped up yet, because as it currently stands, the championship is hanging in the balance by a point. ORT Esports can keep the championship fight alive by 1 point going into the final race of the season. Of course, it is just 1 point, and you know, it's completely in CPI's hands at that point. But this is big. This is huge, because obviously we're on the final lap right now with the race leader. CPI Ragnar needs to get past Fox Blue to take home the team championship here. And there goes Resify through on lightly up into P2. You knew it was going to happen at some point, and it has happened here. Luca now with DRS is going to get this move done on Ragnar. And Luca, of course, does have a little bit of contact there. Has a 3-second time penalty, but this is big for him. As you see, Fox Blue trying to give the toe to Luca there. And of course, with Fox Blue, his tyres have absolutely fallen off a cliff here, and I think Fox Blue is going to do the team orders. He's going to try and back up Ragnar. Can Ragnar get the grip out of these corners? And look at that, Fox Blue going to try and defend the inside, but down the inside goes Ragnar. Ragnar is going to try and get this position done, but look at that, Fox Blue is going to hold it around the outside. And now they are side by side going into the S's, and look at that, Fox Blue holds on, but that could give Luca the gap that he needs, of course, with DRS. And look at this, Fox Blue holding up Ragnar through the middle sector, but here comes Ragnar now with DRS, gonna get this move done. Fox Blue, oh, into the wall goes Fox Blue, and Ragnar. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this race, absolute calamities there between Ragnar and Fox Blue. Luca will hold on to P6, but there'll definitely be some questions about that. As, yeah, absolutely. And there's definitely going to be big questions there. Very, very elbows out from both, from Fox Blue there, trying to make sure that Ragnar did not get the overtake done, but it's come back to bite him as Ragnar does get through. And CPI, ladies and gentlemen, have won the championship here tonight. And I believe NLR will jump themselves up into P2 in the championship with a fantastic result there from both Resify and Alex Marciano. But CPI pick up the championship here with a massive result for Jamie here tonight. Of course, taking pole position by half a second. A dominant performance in the race, and of course the fastest lap as well for him. So absolutely a huge result for CPI. And of course for Jamie in personal views. But there he is, CPI Jamie. What a absolute dominant performance from the CPI driver here today. He just never looked out of question. Half a second was the gap in qualifying. Fantastic in qualifying from Jamie. In the race, in the intermediate conditions, he just bolted away from the back, from the rest of the pack, and it was absolutely incredible from him. And obviously in the dries, when the safety car came out, it bunched everyone back up and everyone went out the set of dries. Reservoir put in a small chance, but when you looked at the ERSs between the pair of them, you could see Jamie just had it under control. But we'll run you through the order one more time. It is CPI Jamie taking victory, pole position and the fastest lap. The Grand Slam for the CPI driver here tonight. Reservoir pushed him close, but not close enough, unfortunately. But it is P2 for NLR Development. Invictus Racing Teams lightly comes home in P3 with Alex Marciano in P4. Luca for ORT Esports in P5. CPI Ragnar in P6. QVR Gary in 7th. Enzo Max in 8th. Martin in 9th. And then Red Ninja running at the top 10. And of course, Gonza was the last of the finishers. And then out there were non-finishers were of course Fox Blue, Killer, Wildstorm, Angel, and of course Yamo at the end. And Gonza losing up massively due to penalties at the end, which is unfortunate for him, but it is what it is. Definitely some big questions going to be asked in that race, of course, at the end of it. And yeah, we're gonna see what happens in the stewards' reports as well. But as it currently stands, massive congratulations to CPI on the victory here tonight, and of course the victory in the championship as well. Of course, next week we'll be going to the season finale, which of course will be at the Suzuka International Racecourse. Of course, we head to Japan for the season finale, my personal favourite track, and we are going to be looking forward to that one. Of course, CPI should be perfectly fine in terms of the championship, and we're going to see who's going to be taking second in the title race, second in the championship. Will it be NLR Development? Will it be ORT Esports? I think LRN and QVR are hanging on, shall we say, in that one. But we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, my name has been Michael Edwards. A pleasure to take you through the action here tonight. And of course, we'll be back next week for the season finale at Suzuka. Until then, guys, good night.